on the left with red-green aggro, and Nick Veccie on the right with zombies. Yeah.
Seems good.
Yeah. So one thing to note, there are no Primeval Titans in James's list, but there are Kessig Wolf runs. So this is just, he's just attacking. Doesn't really want to get up to 6 mana.
Yeah. I mean, his curve tops out with Urabrask at 5, which seems
That's
reasonable.
a single one at 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking at both sideboards, though, you'll note there's Corrosive Gale on both sides. So Nick is leading on. We might have these flipped actually in names. Nick's on the right, James is on the left.
Yep.
Nick has just a forest on one to James's Diagraph Pool. 2 mana. Looks like Llanowar Elves and Galblast on the Ghoul. Not the most opportune time to draw the elves, but good enough.
No, I mean it's fine. You'll still get 4 mana on turn 3, which is acceptable. He can go Hunt Master at this point.
I think Huntmaster is probably very devastating for the zombie deck. Oh, Fume Spitter.
Okay, so James is still ahead on tempo.
Yeah, a little bit of trading some one drops here.
So at this point, Nick is going to be starting James is going to be starting his third turn. He hasn't taken a point of damage yet. Casting Green Sun Zenith for 2.
Strangleroot Geist, I'd assume.
That's the only legal target?
You can get Llanowar Elves or Birds.
Well, you could, yeah.
I don't. Yeah, there's the Strangleroot Geist. Probably. Do you think he stays back or gets in there? I'd have to see his hand. I can't.
Without knowing his hand, it's hard to say. Yeah. You're absolutely right, Ari. But I think if it was me in this case, I would.
There we go. In for 2.
I was going to say stay back, but.
If he has like a Hell Rider or something, he can probably just. I'm fine with trading life. I'm just going to kill you on the last turn.
It seems reasonable. So Nick taps down 2.
Distress,
revealing Incinerate, Force, Incinerate.
So, guess we're taking Incinerate today.
Seems fine.
Probably Diagraph Ghoul cracking back. Yep, 18 all.
Yep. And then follow that up with another Diagraph
That is
Ghoul.
the third Diagraph Ghoul.
Have you had much experience playing the Zombies archetype, Ari? Have you tried it at all?
A little bit. I really didn't like the Obliterator builds. They felt a little clunky, but I really like the really, really aggressive red-black builds that were just... It happened to be a red deck that played like 11 swamps because the good red style 1-drops were these 2 power guys for 1 that are black.
Right.
So that's 4 lands. Strangleroot Geist hanging out on D right now.
Yep. We know he has the Incinerate.
So he's got Incinerate, and it looks like a forest. I think he actually played a mountain that he drew out the top instead of the forest.
Do you think that's correct? I mean...
Yeah, it seems like he should have... I mean, it's marginal information, but still.
Agree.
Yeah, it's going to get real ugly if Nick has an Obliterator right here.
Yeah, that would not be what James Bush wants to see across the table. So it looks like Nick is trying to figure out if he wants to swing in.
Yeah.
I
don't know if he does right now. He doesn't have any real incentive to... Oh, I guess that's a trade.
Yep. So the Geist is going to come back as a 3/2.
Yeah. You might have like a... Oh, wow. There's Obliterator we were talking about.
Yep. Oh boy.
Maybe he's setting up to clear the Geist out of the way and just cracking with the Obliterator. Tragic Slip or something.
That is also possible.
Interesting to note, Nick's decks only sources of blue mana are 8 dual lands. No other way to actually cast these Phantasmal Images otherwise. So that's why he has all these swamps to play. So that's a Zenith for a Hunt Master. James going to go back up to 18 and get the Wolf token. Still a ways away from making this Obliterator anything but unblockable, basically.
Yeah. Now, if you look at Nick's list, you'll notice that he has Geth's Verdict, Tragic Slips, Go for the Throats. So there is the possibility of him clearing out some of these blockers and really trying to attack with Obliterator for value.
I mean, I don't think that James can profitably block the Obliterator anyways.
No, he really can't.
Any chump block is just going to cost him his board. 5 permanents. He has 8 in play. What's he going to keep? 2 lands in a Huntmaster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems bad.
Especially because his guys are dying in combat, so he's not going to be able to sack them.
This is also very true.
He's probably just going to have to race this guy. But Nick might just not want to race, depending on what he has. Though he does have a lot of cards.
He does. So
Diagraph
holds back on the Obliterator. What do you think of that? Is that correct?
Probably. It's 5 damage for 7 basically here, because James can attack. It all depends on what's in his hand. If I was James, I would take this hit, by the way. This is signaling a Tragic Slip, and Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to trade away my Huntmaster for a Tragic Slip and a Diagram Fool.
That seems like a pretty poor trade, but apparently Nick
just has
doesn't
nothing.
have it.
Maybe he was seeing if he could free.
Ruh-roh.
Huntmaster, Ravager is up to one creature, to be fair. He does not have to kill the Obliterator.
He does not.
Though, if I was James, I might just 2 the Obliterator, 2 to you, incinerate your Obliterator, go all in on my attack for 7.
I mean, that's not the most unreasonable line of play, and it certainly puts Nick on the back foot.
Yeah, I don't know how he's gonna have to do a lot of work to break through this Obliterator otherwise.
I mean, if you look at the spells that James is running in his main deck, he has Incinerates, Galvanic Blasts, and Devil's Play, but nothing that's going to profitably get him there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he doesn't really have he has no real way to deal with his Obliterator besides amassing a giant army. But I think he has to. Yep, I think he's going for it. This seems very correct to me. It's just kind of, I have 7 power in play. This is going to kill you in pretty much 2 hits. Going to 2 against, unless Nick has a removal spell in hand, he's very far behind here.
Yep.
I mean, if he does. I guess that's probably where I'd be. Opts not to.
that seems...
He might be. The other line he's
odd.
setting up is to keep Nick's Obliterator on defense and just continue flipping this Ravager over and over again. 2 to you, make a wolf. 2 to you, make a wolf. 2 to you, make a wolf. What? Okay.
Nope.
Does not. The sides do not have the same flip trigger, unfortunately, for James here.
Mm-hmm. So if you're Nick Veccie at this point, what do you really want? I mean, Drelf's Messenger seems like a good option, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Probably another Obliterator would be the best card, but Messenger does some good work.
it's an acceptable man.
It gets to 4, so it beats a Ravager is really important. Does James just want to... I think James might just slow roll... It looks like the last card in Nick's hand is a Phantasmal Image, by the way.
Yep, that looks to be about it, which if he draws one of the non-basic blue sources in his deck...
Lets him get a second Obliterator up. But, that Obliterator's not as good, because it immediately dies before it takes damage to an Incinerator or something at that time.
That is true. You would not get the trigger, but it would be able to battle profitably.
Yes, it's good in combat. I think James is debating here whether he wants to play his 2 spells, flipping back the Ravager. I don't think he does. I think he wants the Incinerate to kill the... Because that's now a 4/3. I guess that trades for the Geist, but
Boy.
I guess that's okay. Yeah, I guess trading for the Geist isn't the worst.
So we're going to have...
Nick can also just image the Messenger, and then when the image dies, copy the Obliterator on the way back.
Which is disgusting.
Yes.
That would be
Image
very
plus
good.
Undying. Clone plus Undying in general is very, very good.
So we have Nick Veccie with Obliterator and an Undead Messenger. James Bush with Geist, Huntmaster, Wolf, Elves.
Llanowar Elves, yep. And the Geist is also undead as well.
Yes.
So it's a 4/3 versus a 3/2.
So we do have not horrible combat options here, but
Not that great.
no. There's nobody really in a dominating board position right now.
Yeah. James is just kind of hoping to grind away with this Huntmaster that's flipping yet again to a Ravager. 2 damage to the face. And presumably, probably just 2 to the Messenger. May
Seems
as
fine.
well. Not like he's going to attack or anything, but maybe he... Yeah, he's just not going to do anything with that 2 damage probably.
I mean, so at this point, James has plenty of land, which is actually going to somewhat neutralize the Obliterator, right? Because it means he can just start throwing away the lands he doesn't need.
Yep.
But
Just kind of sitting there. James looks like he has a Llanowar Elf, and it looks like another spell, so this Ravager might make another Wolf.
You sign up for command number 4. Come on up to the side of this area.
This guy does a pretty good Planeswalker impersonation.
that's a very good way of putting it.
This looks like Zenith for another. Yep.
Wow, okay.
James going back up. Is he still at 16 or the flashback? The Undying, I guess, on the the messenger probably. Yeah, there we go.
Correct.
But he's going back up to 18 now, and now he's just going to start double triggering every flip and really start going crazy.
That seems like a really great way for him to establish board control. I mean,
Yes.
he's going to be gaining life, he's going to be making more wolves, he's going to be
Yes.
dealing damage.
That card gets very dangerous in multiples.
Yes. So it looks at this point, folks, like Nick Veccie really needs something.
Yeah. James Bush back up to 20 now from this other trigger. And he's just getting into the range where Obliterator takes 5. Cool, you killed none of my board. Yep, binning that, taking 4 and binning the messenger after double Ravager flips.
Ouch.
Yes.
So
That is 3 wolves. And
And a GG.
he's done here.
wow,
Yeah, it was not looking very good for him there.
that was intense.
Okay.
So going to the sideboards here, it looks like for James Bush, I don't know, what do you want to see here, Ari?
I want Dismember. That's what I want in this matchup.
Right.
Kills an Obliterator. Not actually good against some of the other cards, but you need a way to beat Obliterator.
Agree.
I don't really like Beast Within. It kills Obliterator, but just the 3/3 is very dangerous. It's possible Trader's Blood is good. I could see potentially boarding 1 or 2 of that in. He has 2.
Sure.
And I'd probably like Batter Skull.
Batterskull seems like it would be a viable play for this.
Yeah.
For this. And then,
I'm just trying to figure out what he boards out. He definitely wants Metamorph.
Yep.
He wants all of his mana guys probably. Maybe he either keeps them all or boards a lot out, and I think he needs them. Sword of War and Peace doesn't seem very good against this mono black deck,
no, it just
unless
It's
he has to
cute,
hook, he has to
but-
hook it up to a Birds to get through. So I'd probably board out War and Peace. I don't know if Hellrider's very good because it seems more about board advantage and less about racing, but maybe that
Right.
was that specific game.
right.
So he definitely boards out War and Peace, probably boards in like Batter Skull, Dismember. The rest of his cards seem pretty good. Nick has Sword of War and Peace, which might be okay.
Possibly, maybe,
The
but-
Strangleroot guys kind of makes that card a lot worse. Mimic Vat seems amazing in this matchup.
Yeah, if he's able to
Yeah.
to nuke a Huntmaster or
Just anything. Just
Yeah, pretty
gives
much.
him gives him some sort of advantage, like his own messenger even.
yeah,
Just-
wow.
Just start churning out, end of your turn, make a messenger to you, untap, attack with the messenger, go. And repeat. Like
Yep.
you can't do it on your turn, but you can just use the old after end of turn triggers have occurred.
Right.
Make a guy, untap and hit them trick.
Which-
Or you can start, you use a Fume Spitter and get to start building a gnarled effigy. Yeah. Build your own
Is
gnarled
that
effigy.
Shadowmoor?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
What else does he want? Probably 4th Obliterator for sure.
No question.
Ratchet Bomb only really profitably kills birds and tokens. I don't think I'd want that here. Definitely doesn't want Surgical. Corrosive Gale, a card that's been talked about a lot in both of these it's in both sideboards. Don't think he wants it. Doesn't want Nihil Spellbomb. Maybe wants Doomblade. Probably wants Doomblade.
Doomblade is probably. I mean,
So-
more. Do you think Distress is good for Nick Veccie in this matchup, or does
Probably.
he want to?
I'd probably just board it. It might be. But I'd probably board out at least some number of the Distresses. There's 3 cards on the sideboard and conveniently 3 Distresses in the main deck.
Sure.
So I just don't want to draw a Distress if these games are going to grind out like that.
Yeah.
Even if maybe you can't beat some other cards. I don't know. I think it's on Nick to decide whether he assumes he can't beat like a Hellrider or something or a Zenith, but I think he can if he just boards in these cards. He has a Mimic Vat, an Obliterator, and a Doomblade for 3 Distress, is how I'm seeing it. Whereas, James also probably might want Thrun.
Thrun would be an interesting option. Yeah, I mean it's a reasonably sized man. It can it makes Obliterator
Yeah.
more problematic. Just block, regenerate.
Well, it takes 4. That
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
matter.
No, sure, you're right.
The issue is that James didn't see any of the images from Nick game 1.
Right.
So Nick actually has he has 5 ways to kill a Thrun in his deck, and also Guess Verdict. So he has 9 ways to kill a Thrun. So I could see that getting boarded in. Looking with the list on the table, I wouldn't, but I could see that being the kind of thing you're like, they're mono black. I'll just board in Thrun and they'll never kill it. Oh wait, I have 9 answers.
Oops. Yep. Mm-hmm. So this could be an
Yeah.
interesting matter of what do I have? What do I think you have?
Yeah. So James had a bird to Nick's Diregraph Pool.
So we're off to the races. James hoping to ramp out while Nick Cracking in for 2 on turn 2, one of the best feelings in the world.
Yeah. What happened to the days of, oh man, that's too good to have 2 power on 1 mana?
I mean...
Ooh, there's a guess verdict for the birds. James drops to 17 here.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty harsh.
Yeah, it's a good start. 2 mana from James for a birds and a Galv Blast, it looks like, taking out that Diagraph pool.
Yep.
Nick suddenly reaching the range where he starts to play some of his super powerful cards like Messenger, but it looks like he doesn't have a land, just a Gravecrawler. It also looks like James might not have a land. James has Strangleroot Geist, Hellrider, and Green Sun Zenith in hand.
Taps down for...
Zenith for Mana Guy, probably another Birds, maybe an Elf.
Probably so. I mean...
Yep, that's another Birds.
There we go.
Passing right back. And Gravecrawler's going to start shambling across the field. James Bush down to 15. 2. So someone... Yeah. Gravecrawler's a just very interesting card.
Oh, and there's a Messenger, which
Charles
is
Messenger.
Going to push James down to 13.
Yep. And yeah, this is a start that James is going to have to start fighting out of. Ooh, that's an Incinerate, which I don't know if it does a lot, but
it really doesn't.
No, these threats are not very prone to dying to removal.
I mean, what do you incinerate here? Do you
probably the rebuy on the Messenger?
Probably.
That looks like a Strangleroot Geist coming down with Incinerate mana up for James. Nick untaps and draws, sends them in. And I think James is going to... Yep, James blocks this Strangleroot Geist on the Messenger, opting to take 2 from the Gravecrawler, 2 from the trigger off the Messenger, and going down to 9 life.
This is putting James in a very precarious position. I mean...
Second Messenger, down to 7. I think James has to get to a Huntmaster very soon. Incinerate takes down the first Messenger that was undead, but still facing down 5 power. Looks like he drew a Llanowar Elf and has a Hellrider. Hellrider's not going to do too much.
Nope.
It's going to block this Gravecrawler, but...
This is looking pretty bad for James Bush right now. I mean...
He can get back in it with the Huntmaster at any point, but... Let's see. Nick's going to serve with at least the Gravecrawler, probably. Or not the Gravecrawler, the Juralis Messenger. Oh, just sends with both. I guess, I mean, can't block, must attack. Same thing.
Sure, absolutely.
Messenger, not counter. Oh, that's a third Messenger for Nick, and the Gravecrawler from Graveyard. The Gravecrawler was blocked by the Hellrider.
Yep.
And the Messenger traded with the first half of the Messenger traded with the second half of a Strangleroot Geist. James Bush at 5 life, facing down Messenger with a counter, Messenger without a counter, and a Gravecrawler with only 2 Birds of Paradise, a Hellrider, and 2 lands in play.
So with this matchup, already, it looks like James probably kept a pretty... Oh.
Packs it in.
Never mind.
Yeah. The hand he kept was probably reasonable. He had 2 birds, 2 lands, and he just got Guess Verdict and didn't have a Huntmaster. I think that was the issue, is that he had to use his Green Sun Zenith on mana instead of Huntmaster, and that's why he lost.
Sure, that seems perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, he might have... I guess he didn't really have any action if he didn't play the... I think he probably could have slow rolled the Zenith for another turn or 2 and probably tried to get to threats, because he had the Strangleroot Geist to play on that first turn that he Zenith for the birds.
He did.
That's one of the really interesting things that always pops up with Zenith, is that you often have this choice where you're like, I can ramp or I can get a monster. And in some decks it's really clear. Like Wolf Run, you look at your hand. Well, do I have a monster in my hand? No, the Green Sun Zenith is my monster. Do I need the mana to get to my monster? Well, it's my mana. Like, very, very obvious. But when you start to get to decks like this red-green aggro deck, it gets very difficult. And, you know, in Legacy tomorrow, we'll probably be seeing a lot of these scenarios with Dryad Arborize, where like, well, I have a Green Sun Zenith in my hand. I don't necessarily have to ramp, but if I ramp, I get to play like Knight on 2, but then I only really have a creature to follow back with. And you have to, it's this very sort of delicate balancing act of, do I need more threats? Do I need the mana to actually play the game fast enough to win? So Green Sun Zenith is a very, very skill testing card, as a tutor, right?
Right. I mean, you have to not only be able to identify where you are in the game and what you want from it, but also what the correct answer is.
Whether you even cast it at all. Like, there's always the option with Green Sun Zenith to not cast it.
Sure. You can always sit on it, just let your opponent play out a little bit more, and then go over the top on them
Yep.
But sometimes it's good to just get something out quick and make your opponent deal with it instead.
Yeah. So James is going to be on the play this last game, which is probably going to be very important.
Yeah, if he can get off to another start like
Yeah.
he had this last game, it's going to be really James. So at this point, James has to be thinking about what kind of hands he actually wants to keep in this matchup.
I don't know how much he can mulligan because it's very attrition based. So I think there's a lot of mid-range acceptable hands.